wife. You have to tell Whitney to give me more of a heads up when something is this important to him.
Sheila shrugged. They both knew it didn't matter in the long run how difficult the task was. Their boss made obedience well worth it.
Whitney wants you to make absolutely certain our good congressman goes through with his vote to approve the research on his new weapon.
Sheila Benet handed Brenda the thick envelope, retaining possession when Brenda eagerly closed her fingers around it.
Don't fail, Brenda, she warned. He doesn't accept failure.
Have I ever failed him? Brenda asked, her dark eyes glittering with anger.
I have never failed him. You remind him that every name he's ever given me I've found a way to seduce or blackmail them into doing what he wants. I can read weakness. And although he hates working with women because we're so damned inferior, he won't find too many men who can do what I do. You just tell him that, Sheila.
Sheila raised her eyebrow, still retaining possession of the envelope.
Do you really want me to tell him all that?
Brenda pressed her lips together tightly, but caution tamped down some of her anger.
I work hard for him. The one time I told him not to press Senator Marcus, he insisted, and even then, when I knew what was going to happen, I still found his weakness. Rather than be blackmailed, he killed himself, just like I said he would. Whitney needs to place a little more value on me as a resource. That's all I'm saying.
Sheila gave her a brief, cold smile as she allowed her fingers to slide away from the envelope, leaving it in Brenda's hand.
That's probably the very reason why he padded your pay, Brenda. Perhaps you might consider that he's a brilliant man who rewards those useful to him. He had no choice but to call you when Waters seemed to be wavering on his vote. Make certain the good congressman doesn't even consider letting him down.
Brenda pushed the thick envelope into her purse and gave Sheila a smirk.
No worries. I've recorded every single session with the Honorable Upstanding John Waters, and I don't think he would ever want the things he's done to come to light. Not with his uptight wife and righteous church-loving family so vocal about all things sinful. He'll do whatever Dr. Whitney needs him to do. You have a pretty good thing going here, Brenda, Sheila said. You get paid by Whitney and by the mark.
Her eyes went glacier cold.
Don't blow it.
Abruptly, she turned and went into the nearest stall, slamming the lock into place to signal she was done. She'd given her warning, and if Brenda chose to bitch again, well, that was between her and Whitney. But people who crossed him generally had a way of disappearing fast. Brenda hummed to herself, a slight smile on her face. She adjusted her silk blouse so that it was just open enough to reveal the enticing rounded curves. The material fell nicely over her nipples, pushed up by the camisole she wore beneath the silk. She glanced down to get her bright red lipstick from her purse. The water in the sink suddenly turned on. Her gaze jumped to the steady stream of water. She shrugged and looked up, uninterested in why the automatic faucet would have been triggered. In the mirror just behind her, she was startled to see the face of a woman standing very close to her. There was no sound at all. She had time to register a waterfall of platinum blonde hair and Asian features. A hard blow to the back of her skull sent her head forward, slamming her into the edge of the sink. She felt nothing at all as blackness descended. Brenda's body slipped to the tiled floor from the edge of the basin. With gloved fingers, the woman threw a handful of water onto the floor around Brenda's feet and the soles of her shoes, crouched to snap one stiletto heel, and jerked the envelope from Brenda's purse, all in one smooth, silent move. As she stood, she removed a tiny camera placed just over the mirror and seemed to disappear in the blink of an eye. "Brenda," Sheila called out tentatively. The water continued to run in the sink. Sheila frowned and glanced under the door of the stall. Brenda was lying on the floor.
"Brenda?"
she said again, her voice cracking. There was no answer, only the sound of the water running. Sheila continued to stare under the door, frozen in place. She couldn't see any other feet, but Brenda's shoe was off her foot, the heel broken. A thin stream of red ran along the cracks, moving in an ever